This is my flooded Aston Martin Vanquish. It's a 1 of 94, and last episode, we got the engine running. Which is a massive relief, because if that engine would have been destroyed, I'd have had to sell one of my dream projects to fund it. Now, although she has life and we have gotten past our first major stumbling block, I want to see whether she drives or not, because I don't want this to be an expensive paperweight. A paperweight? But in order to get her driving, we need to start finding out whether this car has any electrical gremlins, because we've only run this car for 5 minutes. So we need to get it up to temperature. Now I need to get these problems solved because I have a deadline. That light is so bright, man. On the 24th of June, this car will be going to one of you guys for less than the price of a pint of beer. £5 is all it takes to be driving away in this British timeless supercar. Right, we've got a lot to be getting on with, but first, go and grab your raffle tickets using my link in the description box below. The draw ends on Tuesday and there are some brilliant ticket deals you can have, so go and grab your tickets while they last. Right, well, now that I've given myself quite a time frame, I'm going to start by letting it idle. We've only had it running for sort of 5-ish minutes. Now, it wasn't enough to get it up to temperature, so let's get it up to temperature, see whether it stays at temperature. We want to make sure the fan's kicking in, obviously, making sure that it's not going through the roof, the temperature. So let's get it started, and let's hear what that V12 sounds like again. I don't think listening to that V12 will ever get boring. With her sounding brilliant at the back, at the front, it still sounds good, but not as good, because you can probably hear it sounds very, very loud, and it's coming from the bearings that are on those pulleys. So I've gone to Aston Martin, got new pulleys from, we'll swap them over, and hopefully that should make it a bit more quiet. I think when the water's gone into the bearings, it's sort of rusted them, and that's why they sound that they do. So let's get those swapped over. Before we get those belts changed, we've gone and got some protection. Always use protection, especially on cars like these. Big thanks to Dave from Snap-on Electric who sorted me out with these. So I think it's a 13mm bolt, and then obviously you've got the tensioner there. That's actually got, I don't know if the camera will pick up, it's got a Ford logo on it. So it might be interesting whether I could get that off, maybe get a Ford part from it to see what it's on. But you never guess what these are from. These are off of a Ford Mustang. Yeah. Right, so the first thing I'll do is take the belt off. Okay. Belt off. So that's the old one. Now, if you've worked on cars before, done anything with bearings or anything like that, when you can just feel it. On these, you can actually hear them, really. New one, this is what it's meant to sound like. No noise whatsoever. There's definitely no doubt that it's them. So those three are changed. I think I probably will end up changing that tensioner as well. Now we'll just double check that it is put on properly, because these have got the actual aux belt about absolutely massive waiting list from Aston Martin, because I did go to buy one, but apparently it's a 2-month waiting list, so it's brilliant. Let's see what she sounds like. Should be 10 times better. Making my way downtown, walking fast. Let's go to the dash to see what lights we've got on, and we want to keep her idling for, well, as long as she gets up to temperature. So that temperature gauge there is obviously right to the bottom now, but we want that to get to the middle, and we want it to stay at the middle. It's the most important thing, that it stays. I thought there'd be a few more lights on than that. We basically just got an engine management light and an airbag light on. I'm not going to rev it or anything like that and try and get the temperature up that way. She hasn't been started in however long, so we'll just let her idle and we'll let her try and just go for it herself. Right, so I'll have to turn her off in a minute, but I'll quickly show you guys that, look at that, the temperature gauge has risen on it. It's in between, well, I'd say it's 3/4 of the way now. So I wonder what's causing that. Let's go and have a look. Fans aren't working. They are not on. When I just put my hand in that and just give it a little wiggle, it almost like sort of felt like it come unstuck. Right, battery off. I don't want them to all of a sudden spring to life and have my finger chopped off. Let's get something, I've got the end of this ratchet. Let's give the motor a bit of a tap and see whether we can sort of free him up a little bit. I doubt that would have done it, but... Oh, can you hear that? Oh, they're on. There you go, that one's moving, and that one's moving as well. Right, the fans are on. She's back down to temperature. I'm gonna let it run now for about, well, half an hour probably, and we'll just let it get all hot and let it do a couple of heat cycles. But it's good that they're on. I mean, I can feel the heat coming off of those. Let's leave her and we'll just let her idling. I'll sit in the car obviously and we'll just see if it stays at temp. Right, it's now 1:30. She's been running for a good half an hour. And look at that, the only light we've got on now is an airbag light. The engine management light has gone off. So it must be what I said in the beginning, that the emissions have cleared now and it's been run hot and that's all cleared up. So now the only real light we need to tackle on it is that airbag light. So far, so good. The fans that have stayed on the whole entire time though, I'd have thought that maybe they would have stopped running. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna leave it 5 minutes. Leave it 5 minutes and I'll see if they go off on their own or they still stay on. It's been 5 minutes, they're still on, so there's got to be a sticky relay or, well, obviously something electrical that's telling these fans to constantly stay on. I've just done a bit of research and what it says online is that, so the relays, the actual coils that are in them, if they get exposed to water or anything like that, then they can arc against each other and they'll stay on, so that's what I'm thinking has happened here. I'm going to go and have a look now and see whereabouts the fuses are from, if I can find them, because everything else that I've tried to Google online for the original Vanquish has been a bit hard, so let's see if I can see any diagrams. But for now, I'm going to turn the battery off because I don't want it to, one, dead it, and B, I don't want those fans to be on constantly. Right, well, it looks like there's quite a few little miniature and big fuse boxes in this car. So we've got one at the back, which is standard, which is that there. We've also got one each side of the dashboard, which I have seen, they're just little ones like so. And then we've got the big one that sits underneath the bonnet. And then there's one that's right in there. Now that looks like it's sort of like right next up to the bulkhead. So I think that it's going to be a case of getting it up on the ramp, taking the wheel off it and the wheel arch liner, and it must be underneath there because, well, that comes under all one fuse box, and yeah, the other one, it's like it's right at that back. So, and well, the one that's right at the back is the fuse, what it says online, is for those fans. So let's get it up on the ramp. Oh, she looks so good in between that new 2 poster. I did actually have quite a lot of people message me on my last video asking me whereabouts I get my scissor lifts from, and it's from a company called Equipment for Garages. So if you're in the market for a lift like this or one of those scissor lifts, then go to their website. They are really, really good. I would get a little bit nervous doing this on my own. If Dad's it, I can blame him, but that's nice and solid. Always use protection, especially on cars like these. He does actually look very good, very nice. Very good, very nice. Bilstein suspension, shiver me timbers. My life ain't worth living. Right, she's up in the air. You can see obviously the front under tray that we removed. We've just found out that is to do with the gearbox oil, so that pumps it from the middle to the front because there's a gearbox cooler on it. So we need to take off this under tray because look at all those pipes. So that will be to do with the all the gearbox and all the hydraulics to do with that. Got a tiny bits of surface rust on it there, but that's really, really good to be fair because these Vanquish are, especially the first gen, are known for the front subframe and back subframe rotting. And well, that's like brand new. I'm going to get someone in to ice clean it, dry ice with dry ice, and that'll bring it up really, really nice, but absolutely no rust whatsoever. Looks very, very nice. Right, so let's get this tray off and we'll see what we can see. You see, this is what is confusing me with this car. So that under tray's just come off and look how clean it is. If that had been like a high flood or, well, that's right at the bottom. So if that had been in a major flood or anything, you'd see that would be caked in stuff. Now that looks like the day it did when it came out the showroom. Was this car parked in a garage like that? Was it parked on a bit of a hill when it sort of just flooded the front of the car and the back not whatsoever? Because, I mean, look at that. Weird, isn't it? Like I say, we need to do a bit more Googling and find out the drain for this gearbox and we'll drop the oil out of it. I don't know if it might be that or probably maybe that actually. No, I'll do some Googling. so it is the following day. Now, last night I had done a bit of research and I've come across these. So this is for a V8 Vanquish, just a cooling fan, and there's like a little module. Can you see it there? Now I have found one for a Aston Martin Vanquish, and there you go, you can see it there. So I've got those two plugs there going to the fan, and then that goes into the wiring loom. And then obviously that's a little module down there, and it is just here. So I've already gone ahead and disconnected both of the fans. So that one down there is off, that one down there is unplugged, and then that module is right. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it's, there you go, it's right here. You see it? It's right there. And then it just unplugs with those two plugs there. So I think the only way to get that is probably be able to take this fan out. So what I'll do is I'll take off these little shroudings and then see whether we can wiggle it out. Right, I've done a little bit more digging about with these fans. Now, earlier on, I didn't video it because I know it'd be boring. I put the battery on, got the fans running, and I went through every single one of these relays and unplugged them, and it still didn't stop the fans. So, a bit stumped on that front, but I've got ahead and unclipped both of the wires that go onto there. Now, on this bottom bit here, this silver thing, it looks to me like it's some sort of module where you can see like it's got little fins on it. So I'm going to prop the camera up, take that off, because I'm wondering whether that could be like some sort of module for these fans. And that's why maybe it hasn't got a relay, because that controls everything. So let's get it out and let's see what it says. They don't make it easy, do they? They do not make it easy. What I'm going to do is, that is a part number there. I'm going to start putting in numbers and letters from this barcode, and we'll see what we can see. We'll see what Google throws up. PCB temperature tested. And look at that, I just noticed that as well. It's got a Jag part on it. Jaguar. So could this be from a, well, it's got to be from a Jag the same sort of time, ain't it? Let's go and have a look, see what it says. Well, I've just typed in this part number here, 9400015, and it has brought up an Aston Martin DB9 V12 fan control unit it comes under, and now it looks identical. Those are the two plugs for the fans. Look at that, it's literally identical, but it's £375. Now it's not disastrous, but I'm sure if I there you go, Jaguar, what comes up? Yeah, there you go, that's exactly the same. Manufacturers will borrow parts off of each other, and that's exactly what they've done in this case. And hopefully that should be the fans done. Let's get onto that interior. So I've moved on to another problem now. This window switch has decided to not work. It did initially work, so let's get the door card off. We definitely know that the thud wasn't that high, because look at that board. That board was on the fans, that board was on the seat module, that module is on the door module. So I will order one of these up. It's £127 including VAT, but I'll order one up because it can only be that, I think. So let's do that. It's now the following day and the new window switch has arrived. Let's plug it in and see whether it'll work. It's on. Oh, look at that. Right, so that's one problem solved. And also in the post today has come the new seat module. Now, I'm 99% sure these need to be programmed because it did say it on a forum, but it's the exact same part number, so it might be plug and play. We'll have to see. I don't think it will be, unlike the fans. So let's plug it in and we'll see what happens. I think that, well, I think it'll have to be programmed. That's the exact same seat module, same part number. Second plug in. Right, so that's on. It's working. Yes, so they're not programmable, it's just plug and play. I thought that this was going to be one of our biggest headaches with these bloody seats, but oh, I don't want to start speaking too soon, but look at that. Sounds a bit rough. Maybe if we put a bit of grease in them, it'll make it sound better, but Let's get the seat out. Yeah, so it just wants a bit of a tidy up and that, just a bit of a clean. It's quite nice actually though. Let's go and have a look at this seat. Just all wants a tidy up, don't it? Should have a look underneath it. Yeah, it's not too bad to be fair. Got a motor there, and a motor there, then you've got one there. Right, so with that seat out and on the stand, I'm gonna go move it over to the other side. Now, this is the same module, same part number. So as long as it clicks, then in theory, it should really be the same. Let's plug it in. Moving. They're moving on the runners. Well, I thought we were going to have both of these seats out tonight, which I didn't think we'd have them out for another week. So happy days, let's get that seat out. These are the actual modules, not modules, the motors for them. And then they feed to the side of the rails here. And then that obviously pushes the seat up and down. Got another module coming. I didn't order 2 up because I cross-referenced them off an XK, as you know, but the bloke, when I ordered it, said he's not too sure whether they will work or not because he's had them before where they haven't worked. So I only ordered 1, but we've got the other one coming tomorrow as it does work. So I'll see you guys when it gets it. With both of these seats out, now I want to get to the seat motors. Apparently there's one in this corner and one on this right-hand side. Yeah, and one there. These, I think we're gonna have to start stripping this seat out. So I'll take this off and hopefully be able to get to the 2 motors in it. I can see the wires and where they go, and they do come back right into this corner. So let's strip it. The back of the seat and all the foam has all come off, and it reveals the 2 motors. So there's one there, and then the second one is in there. Now there's a plug there. We could try and liven it up directly, but it's 2 plugs. So I could just put it straight back in the car, and then we're gonna liven it up, give those a tap like we did the bottom ones, and we'll see whether they spring to life. If not, I have just looked online, they're 80 quid. They're £80 for one of them. So to be fair, I might just get new ones from anyway, but we'll put it in the car and we'll see if they're free. We've plugged it all back in, but we was giving it direct 12 volts and it ended up getting quite hot, but it didn't end up doing anything. So we decided to plug it back into the car because we don't know whether, well, we don't know if it was earthing properly, to be fair. So we've plugged everything in. Now we've still got a back and forth. Look at that, she's turning. Now it's making the exact same noise that the bottom seats were to begin with. So it's freed up, and let's see, look at that. Now we've got to sort out the lumbar and that other seat. Hopefully that'll free the same as that one because somebody's reclined it all the way back and it stopped on the other one. So another job done. We can finally get it working. It's now reclining, but the lumbar still isn't working on either side, but the back and forth's working and the recline's working on both sides. Now this was the one that was all the way back, so that's another job done. Another one ticked off the list. Right, last thing to do is put that airbox on. You've probably seen the headlines about mis-sold car finance. For years, dealers were quietly taking commission on PCP and HP finance deals. Some going all the way back to 2007. And if you bought a car on finance, there's a good chance that you were overcharged and you didn't even know it. The good news, you might be able to claim some of that back. Sure, you could try chasing it up yourself, either through the financial ombudsman or from your lender. But if you don't have the paperwork or you just can't be bothered with the hassle, then there's an easier way. Reclaim 247. They can track down any finance agreements linked to you since 2007. All they need is your name, address and date of birth. No digging through old files or old bank statements. If there's a potential claim, then their panel of specialised solicitors will handle it all on your behalf. And this all on a no-win, no-fee basis. There's no upfront costs, so there's no harm in checking. It's fast and it's free, and you could be owed thousands. So I'll be leaving a link in my description box below. It will take you straight to Reclaim 247. Go and see whether you can have a claim. And let's get the shutter up and get the Aston Martin outside. She's gone. She is outside, and Alfie's just give her a little bit of a spritz with the jet wash just to get some of the dust off her. Look at that. She's running. I've just pushed it out, and now, well, we're going to see whether this thing drives for the very first time. It's got a gearbox fault that is coming up with it, but I don't know whether that might be because it needs driving or I don't know. But one thing I do know is I'm sick and tired of pushing this thing around. Let's see whether we can drive it. Seatbelt on. She's going backwards. Right, let's take a little, let's have a drive into Rob's yard. She's up to temperature, she's staying at temp. Right, let's take her for a drive. I cannot believe that I'm driving an Aston Martin Vanquish out of the workshop. Might not be for long, but to think a year ago I was working on cars in the freezing cold on the driveway at home, and now I'm just about to take an Aston Martin Vanquish out of the workshop onto the road. This is the first car, nice car, that I've ever been able to drive. All the others I can't get insured on. This is the only one I could get insured on. Oh, I can't actually believe we're driving this. I can't believe it. I can't believe how well it's driving. She's driving absolutely lovely. Well, we've made it back to the workshop on our first try of asking. She drives absolutely lovely. Now, if that is not worth £5 for a raffle ticket, then I really don't know what is. You can't even go into a pub. I've said it so many times. You can't even go into a pub and get a pint nowadays for £5. And you could be driving away in an Aston Martin, one of 94 Vanquish. Well, if that's not enough to make you buy a raffle ticket, I really don't know what is. Thank you so much for watching today's video. The link in the description box below will take you straight to the raffle site. Go and grab your tickets, and there's some very good bundle deals on at the minute. The raffle ends on Tuesday, so go and grab your tickets, and best of luck to all of you. I'll see you all in the next one.